Hello guys and welcome to Michael's Sports Minute. In today's Sports Minute we will be talking about how Gerrit Cole was nearly traded to the Astros. Steph Curry suffering an ankle injury in a game and he will still be out for quite a bit of while. And will Le'Veon Bell sit out or retire for the 2018 to 2019 NFL season if the Steelers don't pay him? All that coming up. But first we'll lead off with Jon Gruden getting hired by the Raiders, and we're not going to necessarily be talking about the hire. We're going to be talking about how the hire was done. Now, the Rooney Rule applied in 2003, named after Steelers owner Dan Rooney, who tragically passed away this past summer, states that you must interview at least one minority candidate for a head coaching position. And many people believe that the Raiders violated that Rooney Rule, but Jon Gruden and the Raiders said they've interviewed two minority candidates, but before Jack Del Rio was fired, that the Raiders had a deal in place to hire Jon Gruden as the next head coach of the Raiders. So many people are starting to think, wow, the Raiders basically handed this case to the NFL. The only violation of the Rooney Rule was when the Seattle Seahawks did it, and all they did was get a fine, but it wasn't as bad as this. Now, this could mean a possible draft choice taken away from the Raiders, or just a fine, just as well as the Seahawks, but there definitely should be some punishment, as people are calling for the NFL to investigate the situation. Next, we'll move on to the Gerrit Cole story, how Gerrit Cole yesterday was reportedly John Morrissey and Ken Rosenthal confirming John Morrissey's report that Gerrit Cole trade to the Astros was imminent. It was gonna happen. But Ken Rosenthal confirmed it just later after John Morrissey did. John Morrissey reported around noontime, 12:30 yesterday, that that Gerrit Cole would be traded to the Houston Astros. We hadn't heard anything from anybody until nearly an hour later when Ken Rosenthal reported on Twitter, he basically an apology saying, my mistake, I confirmed John Morrissey's report that the Astros were close to acquiring, that a deal was in place between the Astros and the Pirates to acquire Gerrit Cole, and that the trade was going to happen. He said the reports were false. So Gerrit Cole was basically in an Astros uniform from 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. yesterday. And John Morrissey tweeted a couple things out later about the situation, a story on the report on Twitter that the trade was not going to happen, but Pirates fans were saying, there goes Gerrit Cole, another bad management decision by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Bad on the decision by Neil Huntington. Well, Gerrit Cole is still in a Pirates uniform, at least for now. The Yankees are not pursuing him at this point, though. We'll stay on a Gerrit Cole topic. But the Yankees are not pursuing him at this point. So it looks like the Pirates could keep Gerrit Cole within their organization for the upcoming 2018 MLB season. Next, we'll move on to another MLB topic. Charlie Blackmon and the Rockies reached a 1-year, $14 million agreement to keep Charlie Blackmon, to avoid arbitration with Charlie Blackmon and the Rockies, a 1-year, $14 million deal. So that's going to keep center fielder Charlie Blackmon with the Rockies, and he's been a centerpiece into the Rockies' rebuild, sort of uprising the past couple of years, so it's good to keep one of the key pieces in that uprising for the Rockies with the organization. Next, we'll move on to another arbitration avoidment by Josh Donaldson. Josh Donaldson avoided arbitration with the Toronto Blue Jays by signing a 1-year, $23 million contract, so he's getting paid that money. But that is the largest contract signed by an arbitration-eligible player. So third baseman Josh Donaldson for the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Toronto Blue Jays really haven't been doing much. They've been in 4th and 5th place the last few years in the American League East. But one of the key players for the Toronto Blue Jays that was arbitration eligible will stay with the team without going to arbitration on a 1-year, $23 million deal. we'll move on to the NBA now, where Stephen Curry suffered an ankle injury in a game through the past week. He has been sitting out for a week now. He will sit out tonight, as the time I'm recording this. He will sit out tonight's game with that same ankle injury. So that brings questions from the Warriors: how long will Stephen Curry be out with this ankle injury? It has really put an irk in the Warriors' season, because with Stephen Curry been out, they haven't been really playing their best basketball over the past week. So it's only a matter of time before Stephen Curry comes back. But the Warriors really do need to get on track if they want to keep this great season going. So next we'll move on to the Cavaliers. 2 plus 25-point losses in a row to the Timberwolves and the Raptors. So and combine those two losses for a point differential, point margin of the last two games of minus 61. So the Cavaliers look like they're in some deep trouble, and it's been around LeBron James, honestly, because the King really just not playing LeBron James basketball over the past few weeks. So LeBron, again, he made some sort of statement after the game when he was being in the locker room interview. So what really distress within the Cavaliers organization could be leading to this after the Kyrie Irving situation. It might have gotten into the heads of the Cavaliers, and now they're just not playing good basketball, because it could have gotten to the beginning of the season. And at the beginning of the season, they really weren't playing good basketball. Then they got on track, and now they've started to fall off after Christmas. The Christmas loss, a close loss to the Warriors. But the Cavaliers really haven't been able to get on track after late December and the loss to the Warriors. So I don't know if the Cavaliers are going to be able to get back on track, but we will have to wait and see. So now we'll move on to college basketball. So with college basketball, 3 number 1 teams have lost already, and we're past halfway through the season. We're into conference play, but still, it's an odd number, because it hadn't even reached that last year. So a really off the rails, complete spin cycle of a college basketball season has kind of erupted in our faces this year. So we'll have to see where this goes going into this January and February, the final 2 weeks of the regular season, and then we're into March Madness with the conference tournaments, and then the actual March Madness itself. So we'll see how the number 1 teams and their squads can respond. We'll go over the number 1 teams that lost right now. Duke, the first number 1 team, or number 1 for 6 weeks, went undefeated. Then they lost surprisingly to Boston College. Then just a couple weeks after Villanova was given the number 1 spot, they lost to Butler, who Butler upset Villanova last year as well from the number 1 spot. Then Michigan State was given the number 1 spot. That same week, they lose to Ohio State at Columbus. Now Villanova has once again been rewarded the number 1 spot, and we'll see how Villanova will be at the number 1 spot this time. But next we'll move on to the NFL. So 3 players I'm going to talk about right now that are either injured and will not be able to go in the divisional round, and the other 2 will be going after missing a few weeks. The first, we'll talk about DeMarco Murray, the one who will be out for the AFC divisional round against the New England Patriots. Murray suffered an injury sort of towards the end of the Chiefs game or in practice or something. But again, the injury will keep him out of action against the New England Patriots. So it's going to be all down to Derrick Henry. Again, DeMarco Murray will be out. The next one we'll talk about is Chris Hogan after missing games ever since the big Steelers win. He has been out of action for the Patriots. They wanted to keep him safe. They didn't want to play him against the Steelers game, and then after that, they just wanted to keep him safe at this point. But he will come back. He's been cleared to play, medically cleared to play for the New England Patriots this week in the AFC divisional game against the Tennessee Titans. Now we'll go to the Antonio Brown story where he was injured during that Patriots game with, at first it was believed just a calf bruise. He was taken out for the entire game. Then later that week we got information that it was a left leg contusion. And now we have learned that he will be expected to play against the Jacksonville Jaguars in their AFC divisional round matchup. Now here we go into our final story of the day, the Le'Veon Bell situation, where ESPN reporter Jeremy Fowler reported that in a locker room interview with Le'Veon Bell, Le'Veon said that he would consider sitting out or even retiring at a young age if he does not get paid by the Steelers, if he gets franchise tagged yet again. So if Le'Veon Bell does not sign a contract and gets franchise tagged yet again, he will again, as said, he will consider retirement or even just sitting out the season. He did make a statement on Twitter after the allegations were made, after this was reported, that I'm not focused on next season right now. I'm focused on the Jaguars and winning a 7th Super Bowl for the city of Pittsburgh. But the story with Le'Veon Bell at this point is, will he be paid or will he actually sit out or retire going into the 2018 season? So that's going to be it for Michael's Sports Minute, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe for more of these videos, more content on the channel. And if you do subscribe on your mobile phone, on your mobile YouTube app, make sure you tap the bell so you don't miss out on any new notifications for any new videos on the channel, as I do upload daily here on my channel. So again, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, good night.